Welcome back to the series. We are developing a web app like Tinder in less than 1 hour. We developed user login, signed in view, a swipeable dating feed, and we got 30 more minutes to finish the rest of the app. So let's not waste any more time. So in this part, we will be optimizing the dating feed that we have created in the last part. That means we have to write logics on what profiles should show up on each user's feed based on their preferences and settings. First, we need to handle swipes, like what happens when a user swipe right on a card and what happens when they swipe left. Second, restrict the same user from showing up on their feed, like we shouldn't be able to swipe ourselves, right? And third, restrict already shown cards from showing up again. And last, restrict cards according to the user interest, like whether they would like to see male cards or female cards on their profile. So let's start by handling swipes. We need to create a backend file for the swipe logic. Let's name it handle swipe. So we need to do two things in this file. First one, we need to take the profile ID here. It should be a string and the direction should also be a string. After that, we can create a new constant and call it swipe collection equals data swipes. Once we have that, we need to get the current user ID. So another constant user ID equals, it's a string ctx dot current user dot id. Now we can write the code to update the database on each swipe. So inside this set, I'm going to mention whatever key items I need to have in the database with each swipe. We need to store the user ID, profile ID, and the action. But we haven't wrote the condition for an action yet, so we can write it just above here. Constant action, we can write the condition here. If the direction equals left, then declined. Else, store the value as accepted. So what we did here is that when we do a swipe, that is when we do an action, we will add a new field to the swipe collection in the database, where we store the user ID, profile ID, and what action it was for each swipe. Save the file and let's go make the changes in the front end. Now we can go to cardui.tsx and inside the Tinder card class, we can add an onSwipe. OnSwipe is a prop we get from the Tinder card library that we installed in the last part. And inside of it, what we will do is, we will call the handle swipe server file, the file that we just created just now. And we will pass the profile ID and direction. And save. Let's give it a try. So let's open MongoDB Compass and we can see that we currently have two collections here. Now let's give the swipe a try. Swipe right. And yes, a new collection got created for swipes. And inside we are collecting user ID, profile ID, and action that says accepted, which is right because we swiped right. So let's go on and swipe left on a card and check back on the DB. It's stored as declined. So we have handled swipes accurately. So next on the list, we need to restrict the current user from showing up on their feed. So for that, I have added 10 random users. Right now I am signed in as Mia Parker and I shouldn't be seeing myself on my feed. So let's correct that. Open code mode, go to list all profiles server, and let's get the current user here. constant current user equals ctx dot current user. That's it. Simple. Now inside profile here, we can write the logic to exclude the current user from the feed. And save. Let's check it out. Go to preview, do a reload, and it's not supposed to show Mia Parker. Yes, it is not. So that's done. The user won't see his or her profile on the feed anymore. Now for the third item on the list. Once we swiped a profile, either left or right, the same card should not appear again on the feed. So let's do that. First, let me delete all the test entries inside the swipes collection. So there would be none. And delete. Okay, now I'm going to swipe Isabella Taylor to the right. And when I reload the page, the same profiles shows again, right? See, it should not. So let's fix that. Go to code, and inside the same list all profiles server file, we have to take swipe collection and swiped profiles. So constant swipe collection equals data. Here we have to fill in the key. We can check the database for it. Swipes. Next, we can take the swiped profiles list here. So now that we have taken the list of swipe profiles by the current user, next we can write the logic to exclude the swipe profiles from the feed. So that's it. Now let's save it and check if it works. Yes, we already swiped Isabella Taylor, so she's not on the feed. Let's swipe Harper and check if she appears again. Nope, so that's done. Next and final item on the list is to restrict the feed to show profiles according to the user interest. That is, if the user interest is set to male, then the feed should only show male profiles, and vice versa. So I am currently Mia Parker, and during sign up, I had the option to select my dating interest. If we look at the database, Mia Parker has set gender to female and dating interest to male. But right now she is able to see female profiles as well, which she doesn't want to. So let's go back to list all profiles server, and we want to exclude profiles based on gender. For that, we need to fetch the current user profile from the database to this file. Then we can simply call the current user's interest using current user profile dot interest. That's it. Let's save the file and check. Refresh the page. And yes, we are only seeing male profiles because our interest is set to male. That's it. We optimized the feed to behave similar to how Tinder does. That's all for this part. In the next and final part, we'll be developing the matches tab and the logic behind it, including a real-time chat. So I think we got around 15 to 20 minutes left. So yeah, let's finish this. See you in the next video.